certain ways, God loved you. Now he's asking you to love others that did the same identical thing that you've done. And he forgave you. You know why? Because love covers a multitude of sin. Colossians 3:14 says, and above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Put on love, brothers and sisters, because it binds everything together in perfect harmony. That bad temper, that rowdiness, that heart that is a heart of stone, that heart that is filled with hatred and denial and hurt and sinful thoughts. Love covers a multitude of sin. Above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony, my brothers and sisters. 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, so now faith, hope, and love abides, these three, but the greatest of these is love. How great is the love that you project? How great is it? John 15:13 says, greater love has no man than this, that someone lay down his life for his friend. What did Jesus do? Jesus laid down his life. Will you lay down your life also? Remember, there's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Roane, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
All right, it's time for David West is in the house, and Dustin, nephew.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How you doing, guys?
You sidekick today.
That's it.
Hers got a real bad cold.
Mm-hmm. And where's Barney?
He's afraid to come out. I don't know. Barney must be making some house calls or something. Of course, what he's doing, selling insurance, I'm sure he's making some kind of call, business or house or somewhere.
Yeah. So what's up, guys?
Well, Dustin had to be off today, and I said, I need somebody to go with me. I don't know where Barney hadn't heard from him, so he said he'd come over here and then go back and help me. We're doing some displays over at the store, and we just got a lot of things we're doing, you know.
Yeah.
And then next, I'll throw this in now and then a little later, but next Monday night, which is 10th, we got shows over at Wild Wings on Emory Road, 6:30 to 7:30. We got some special guests. It looks like it might be. It's going to be one of our bigger nights, I believe, because we got a lot of people coming. If he can do it, and they called and said he's going to try to, the guy, you know, that the barber shop guy that cuts and sung.
The quartet?
The one that sung American, he done up at the races, he done all the big song, one of "Oh Say Can You See," you know, the big song that they do for that. But he did that, and see, they put him on the Grand Ole Opry. They've got him a barber chair in there now, and he cuts the stars' hair why he sings.
Really?
They call him the singer barber. I had him over there once, and I don't think I've had him on the radio here, but I had him over at the Wild Wings. Oh, they went nuts over him. I mean, his daddy and his brother sings with him when he's out like that. They call him. They can work it out. They're coming up Monday night. So at the Wild Wings on Emory Road. We'll tell you more about it in a few minutes. But we're just talking about coming over here. I was telling him some stories about things that happened there in the community. And I pulled out on the highway. I had to look over where the house used to be. And this was back before the interstate was built.
Mm-hmm.
And at 5 o'clock, when they turned over his traffic out, I saw people that couldn't even cross the road. You'd have to come out there and get in the right lane and go up there and get in the left lane and turn off and come back. There wasn't no way to get across the road. I mean, it was bumper to bumper, and if somebody let you in, then you go up and get cross over, and then let you go over to the other side of the road if you want to go to Clinton. I mean, if you pull that, you have to go to Knoxville before you go to Clinton. It was bad, and this old fella had one of them, I believe it was a 1950 slink-back Chevrolet. It's a pretty car back in, but this was probably it was before the interstate. The interstate, I think, went in about, 64. Most of it went in, but they had to hold up on ours because that bridge up there across the river, it took them longer to build it, and they finally got 2 lanes, and then they got to 4 lanes. But anyhow, this old man lived across the street from us, and his grandkids was in there with him, and they'd tell him, was trying to help him get on the road. You know, couldn't see too good, and his car, he'd say, "What's coming?" They'd say, one's coming. They kept saying that to him, and Jerky got mad, and they said, "Here comes one, here comes one, here comes one," and he said, "Well, I'm sick of that. Here goes one." He pulled out on the highway, and I reckon they hit him from every angle. It was a 5 or 6 car pile up. They knocked him from one lane plumb over the other. I went there to see if he was hurt. He wasn't hurt, but them fender benders, you know, hit him in the back, hit him on the side. He hit somebody else. It was about 5 car pile up of fender benders. Poor guy got out, and they didn't let him drive anymore, I don't think, after that. But it's so funny. He counted, said, "Here goes one." And we had an artist there that ran an art shop, Mr. Abston, and Mr. Abston said, "I count 3 cars," and I pulled out. I said, "You ought to be able to get on this highway after 3 cars go by." And he'd say, 1, 2, 3, and he was lucky he never did get hit, but I guess he's counting on a good number.
Yeah. What's that one saying that I want to go out in my sleep like my grandpa, not kicking and screaming like everybody else in the car.
I've heard that. That was a good one. I was funny to think. This guy was a real good friend of mine. He made banjos and instruments, and he went to the Smithsonian. And, I mean, he made a lot of stuff there. In fact, I told him about some parts on a banjo to improve it, and he made them. He was a big thing in carbide, and he went there and made them and brought them back, and there was an improvement. And I showed him some other parts that we could improve a little bit of the parts that they'd made, and he also built me he took a guitar and built me an electric banjo, and he went to the guy that done Buck Trent's that knew it before Buck got his, and he showed him how to do it, and so I learned how to put the arm down there and change the tone of it and all that. And so he built me an electric banjo out of like a Stratocaster guitar, and it was so good. But he was an older fella, and he had a real nice Volkswagen van. You know, a lot of them made them little buses into campers. Yeah. Oh man, he had it bed, and he had everything in the tables, and he'd made one of the prettiest vans for a couple of people who could travel in. And so he'd want to go somewhere, and usually, I mean, he'd always say, "You drive, throw me a key," you know, because he didn't want to drive it. I would, but I wasn't on this trip. Another guy was older too and went with him. They went to Atlanta, or went below Atlanta, had to go through Atlanta, and went to some festival or something down there. He said, "Boy, that guy like scared me to death." He said, he was driving that nice van. It was pretty. And he had it customize himself. Because, see, he built banjos and stuff. He could build anything like that. Oh, he customized that thing, and he said, we're going down to Atlanta, and I guess you know when everybody does, I guess it's still that way. I was down there last year, but I wasn't driving either. I was somebody else driving. I was asleep, I think, and I went through it. But anyhow, the lane keeps moving to left all the time, you know, because that still comes off. You just have to keep fighting to the left.
Right.
And so he said, we was going down through there, and I said, you want to go in that left lane a minute. Said, he turned his signal light on and said, he would look in the mirror to see where his cars was at. Said he just turned the signal light on and run over. And he said, I heard tires squeaking and crashes going on. He said, what's wrong with them blankety blanks? He said, you just caused a 9-car pileup. You know, it's funny how some of the older people, they just didn't get up to the interstate right. I remember the first time when the interstate first day or first week it opened in Knoxville, up there, going to Knoxville, there wasn't nobody on it. They're afraid of it. Older people afraid of it. And I worked with a floor covering company. I had to go pick up some floor tile or carpet, floor tile I believe it was, because we was laying down tile and stuff, inlay or a roll inlay or something. But I went up through there, and there's a guy that was in the carpet business too. You know, he owned it. And I said, how do you drive on this thing? And he said, I ain't never been on it. He said, I was just going to ride. Do you see how it works? I said, well, shoot, I don't know nothing about it. I went up, it was nobody. You had to go, if you want to come back this way, you had to go past it, go around here, and then you had to go up there and go around that one to get off to come back this way. And I call it the clover leaf. I must have went 5 times. I see the building I wanted, but I couldn't get to it. I went off the clover leaf, but you know, it's okay because there wasn't nobody on the road but me. I didn't even pass the car.
I-40 you're talking
about? Yeah, no one going through into Knoxville City.
Okay.
Yeah, that up there. They finally named it Malfunction Junction, I reckon. But they had a clover leaf. You know, now you go off and you go straight across and keep going, which is good. But the clover, do you remember the clover leaf? You had to go down through there and get up, go around this way to come back on in.
I don't believe I do.
Oh, it was whoever, they called it it's something. And if you got up on it, so you could turn off, go around and you come up on it. Well, that puts you on that street there. You couldn't go back off on it back on the interstate again. You had to go that way. Well, when you go out there at the end on that other side, you had to go off to the right to get back this way. And everything had to be right. It's what's the clover leaf.
Right.
Everything is, you can't get cross.
Yeah, you got it.
But I'd get up there and I'd go this clover leaf. I could see that building and that didn't take me to it. And then I'd go to another one and I kept getting messed up, you know. I was just, in fact, I've got a picture when we went to school. The first person that was killed on it was a McHouston girl, lived right below us there. She was driving a Corvette, flying, you know. You could do right whatever you wanted on it.
Right.
I mean, back in 70, 80, wasn't no cops or nothing on it. I'd get in trucks, them old people had them souped up street rods. They'd get up there and, you know, even this old 50 mile stuff, it's still a 5 or 8 because it wasn't like a new car. I said, man, you're doing 80 mile an hour. He said, yeah, they don't care what you drive on there because there wasn't that many people on it. I'm talking about when it first come out.
Yeah.
I'd get scared. I'll tell you what, I was playing Renfrew Valley, Kentucky. I was playing at the barn, Renfrew Valley Barn Dance up there, at the place, and Barnum and Buster and Red and Fred, and they was in front of us, and Barnum and Buster, we had a limousine we traveled in. And so they broke down. His car motor went out of it or something, I don't know, maybe a radiator hose. And he was sitting there, he had to wait to get the tow truck. And he was on the interstate because he knew we was behind him so he could flag us down. And Buster said, it looked like a little red standing there. And he flagged and he run off and said, what is it? He said, my car sitting over on the side of the road said it's just heated up. It just died. It got so hot. And he said, well, get in. He said, take me down there somewhere to the service station. Got tow trucks back in. It's way back in 69 or 70. And he got the tow truck. There's a boy, they were shooting back in his jaw and had one of them souped up old 50 Fords or something, 49 Ford. big old wide push bumper, and he was going to take us up there and dump us off, and then we was going to get in the car and come on, and he was going to take his truck on down there, and he'd stand with it. Oh, no, we had to go there with him, too, put him in the car with us. Him and Fred was going to crash because that thing had 3 seats in it, and they was going to get in there with a seat down, and that old boy, Red, said, go with me, David, and I said, well, okay. So they left me and him to get in the tow truck. Well, I got on the outside, little Red got on the inside. That boy's turn, he revved that thing up. He must have had a big old Ford motor or Corvette or something. He went up that interstate, and he was flying, and he said, that's my car over yonder. And he said, oh, we got to go over to it, ain't we? And you know how that medium strips grass and a ditch. And he said he revved it up, dun, dun, dun. I thought to myself, he ain't going to cross this. You know, you couldn't. I mean, if you just went straight across it, your hind end, back end would have hung the front end. He went on the angle. He said, oh, he went off that thing, and that truck turned off. I thought it was going to turn over. And we come up on the other side. It was so bad, it sprung the doors open. I had to hold the truck and fall out. He didn't say a word. They said, oh, God, you ain't going to go across that, are you? And wham, he went across it. He jumped that ditch, and that's in there. Red looked over. I said, I like to fell out. I caught the roof. If I hadn't caught the roof, it took me out. But he got us dinner, and I said, I think we need to hang riding the end more if we get out of this. It's like the guy was praying in an airplane. This told him, said, you're going to crash. Said, we ain't got no choice. This guy, everybody was praying, and this guy, rich man, was on there, and he was praying. He said, Lord, if you let me out of here alive, if you let this thing land, let's get out of here alive, I'll give you half of everything I've made, half of everything I own. Well, they got the plane straightened out, and it landed. So the old boy started down, getting off the plane, and there's a big old black guy there was talking to him, he'd made friends with somebody. He said, buddy, I want to ask you a question. He said, what? Are you going to really give the Lord half of everything you own? He said, oh, we got a better deal than that now. I said, Lord, just forgive me for this, being on that thing, and if you ever catch me on another, I'll just give you all of it. So he made a good deal too. He did, yeah. I'll just give you everything I own if you ever catch me on another one of these things. he didn't, that's where I fell in that truck. If I get out of here alive on it.
You ain't never getting back in.
Of course, if he'd got half everything I own back in, it would probably be about $2.50. Musician just made, union wages was $30 a guess, $30 a night. That's all you made, and that was for 2 45-minute shows. And most of them places didn't pay enough for union, $30, $35 a night. I remember when it went to 35, and then it went on up, and by that time I was making more money. I was on my own making pretty good money by that time. But, you think that's a lot of money, but gas was only 19 cents a gallon. Yeah. 19.9. And loaf of bread, dime, 12 cents. Loaf pack of buns, a dime. I mean, we had a clubhouse, and we'd go around, us boys, there's 3 or 4 of us, we'd go around where they had a big trash pile down where they throw their garbage and stuff. We'd get in there and get them coupons off these Crisco lard cans and different things. You get 10, 15 cents off of them. I mean, they had good coupons on there. We'd go in there and get us $1 or $2 worth of coupons. Then we'd go to that grocery store, and that guy'd take them for anything we wanted. It'd be off Crisco or something. He'd say, I give them or get you something. We get us a can of chili beans with a dime, and buns was a dime, and a pack of hot dogs was about 10 or 12 cents. And Faye, my sister, and in fact, Mama had Kool-Aid, and she'd make some gallon of Kool-Aid and fix all them, and we'd go across over in the field and had wild strawberry patches over like blackberries. And boy, I mean, they'd be about the size of your thumb, them strawberries would. And we'd did a big patch of them over, and we'd pick them, and Mama would make whipped cream. She'd make it out some way in eggs and stir it, and I don't know how she did it, but we had a big picnic, and we had, I was going to tell you something funny. My daddy built us, that's when we was real young. My daddy built this clubhouse for us, And when he did, I was at school, and I come in, he had it just about done. He didn't have the roof on it, but he said, I'm building you something. He built me at clubhouse, and it stayed down there for years. But what we done, we had to have a name for it. And I was coming away from the service station up there, and he'd throw some signs, real pretty signs out. One of them said Gates, and it was Gates Fan Belt, what it meant. Gates, you know. So I said, we'll just name it the Gates Club. And I put that. One of the boys said, why did we name this the Gates Club? I said, it's on a sign I could find. You know, hey, and in this, we got Dustin probably like here is because he knows my lifestyle of how I did everything. And even when I was a kid, I like to help people and do things for them. And so I said, if we need to move this clubhouse, well, I done got up 16 or something. My daddy was helping me run the store, the cider place at that time. And I said, if we had some way of moving that cabin, that thing down there, then it'd be down there, and we could let people stay in and stuff like that. Because a lot of people need a place to sleep, you know. So we took it and tore it down to sections. One end, the other end, the front end, the back end, and the roof off, and the floor. And we had some of them kid wagons, we'd put it on that and haul it down there, and we'd put it back together. Took it down there, and two of us hold it up, we nailed it back together all the way around. And this feller, his wife throwed him out. They had a bad spat, and so he didn't have a place to stay, and he come up and I said, we got this clubhouse, but we ain't got no bed in it. So he said, I don't need a bed, I got a sleeping bag. He'd sleep in that, and he lived in that for a pretty good while. And then another guy stayed in it, and then I saw this thing, you get a barber set of tools, all of them for $9.95. You can do everything. That's when I went and got it, and I put me a bar shop in it, and I just put a chair in it and started cutting hair. You know, I thought it was something just a kid. I would do anything to make money. My daddy, I still got him over. It's interesting, go over and look at some of this stuff. While I was at school, he made me rabbit traps. And I got one to double, and it was double. I had door on this end, door on this end. He had a piece of wire in the middle, that heavy chicken wire.
Mm-hmm.
And one rabbit could go in and see the other. You know, if he saw that dinner, he'd go on the other side, and they put apples. Boy, they loved apples. Cut apple peelings up and stuff. And I'd catch them rabbits. Sometimes I'd catch two a night. And that'd get me 50 cents a piece. I'd dress them, and I had people out there in the community bought them. And make me $1. Boy, if you had $1, you could go places.
Right.
You could.
Big money.
Or a big old RC 12 ounces nickel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a big old moon pie nickel. I mean, an RC and a moon pie, you know, just a dime. And I had money, and I'd save it up. And I'd save my money, and then they got me making popcorn, and I'd sell that. But I always had something. I always was doing something to make money. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't spend it on nothing that was like cigarettes or nothing like that. I said, oh, that don't make me no money. I burn that money up, you know. And I remember I was just always finding something. I got that older guy, and he showed me how to dig ginseng. If I'd want a pair of boots, I'd dig ginseng. I got enough to buy me some boots. And he showed me how to cut bee trees, and me and him sow honey when we got the bees out there, and got a few stands of them up, or had a few them bee gums up. And there's something, directly you don't realize. It's like a guy told me one time that I worked for him at a sign company. He said, I ain't got nothing but $100 bill. I hate to bust that, because once you bust it, it just goes.
Right.
He said, I hate to bust that $100 bill. I guess I'm going to. I ain't got no change. So he just won't buy something. And I thought of what he said. It goes like that. If you start getting into it, directly, it's just like anything else. You know, if you start, you might just, I'll tell you what really hurt a lot of people, and it helped a lot of people. But it hurt some people. It was credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
They thought swipe them. They even got addicted to them.
Oh, yeah.
You swipe them. I just love to swipe them things, buy stuff that they didn't want. I know this lady in Nashville, her husband was a big star, and she went and got them credit cards, and would go order all this stuff off the mail and buy up stuff that she didn't even want, and then take it to the flea market and sell it and tell him how much money she made. And I mean, he got finally lost his house over it.
Oh, that's sad.
He got up so much he owed it, and he was a big time songwriter, and he got so broke that BMI had to pay. They had to give him part of his money. They took the house payment out and they gave him the rest of his money because he was drawing like $150,000 a year back in those days. And that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I was down there and looked at his house. It was just back in about a $70,000 house, but which was a high dollar house.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But you always had to, I was telling Ron here one time, you always had to have something to sell. When I went to high school or grammar school, I'd get rusty pocket knives. Back in, they played, Mama pegged with knives. And every boy had to have a knife. That's the first thing you had to have is a knife when you become a little older, and even little ones. I mean, everybody had a knife. Daddy had a knife. I had to have a knife, you know. And, of course, the school wasn't like it is now. And I'd take them and polish them up and shine them up, sharpen them, and I'd trade them for notebook paper or notebooks or anything I wanted.
Yeah.
I'd say, what do you take that billfold you got there? And they'd say, I don't know. I don't even like it much. If you have a nice billfold, I said, I'll give you one of these knives for it. Or then I got them
Marbles.
And the marbles. Oh, man, I went places with them marbles. My uncle cut cars up. He'd get them steel bearings out of them. Different big old, great old big and that big, and you get the little ones, and I had all sizes. The big ones, they call it dolly roller. Dolly roller. Oh, he's going to use a dolly roller. And then they had the dolly roller marble game.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, they were at school back when I went. They had every season. You had marble season, mama peg season, yo-yo season, kite season. There's seasons for everything, and yet you had to have them.
Yeah.
And see, I didn't want I couldn't afford maybe a good yo-yo. I get maybe the 15-cent one or something like that. But I like them Duncan, you know. So I'd wait till the season died out, and I'd trade something for it. I'd stock them up. I'd get me a bunch of yo-yos, and I'd have them next year. I could sell yo-yos.
I remember my dad used to tell my mom, because she used to collect coupons, like you're saying. And she used to collect coupons and go grocery shopping. And my dad saw her say, oh, we're going broke, saving money.
That's true. I mean, you can't do that. Yeah, gas is higher than what
Going broke, saving money.
Going broke, saving money.
You were talking about the signs earlier. It made me think of something. Remember the dog Walter? The first dog Walter you had? On his dog house, he had his name on there, Walter. Well, he eventually, he eventually passed away, and he got another dog. He named him Walter. I was like, well, Uncle David, why'd you name this dog Walter? He said, so I didn't have to change the sign on the dog house. That made me laugh.
I had about 5 Walters. I got to tell you something funny. Mr. Faulkner is too bad to tell, but it's too good. He made me think of it with Walter. So I wanted a dog like they had on the Andy Griffin show. You know, I can't think of what. Blue. You know, Blue. Yeah.
Blue.
So I went to the animal shelter in Knoxville, and I got Blue. Got one just like it. And they made me sign all kinds of papers. You'd take and have him neutered, and you'd give him his shots. And they done the shots there, so I took care of that. I took care of everything but the neutering deal. And so, that was the sweetest old dog. I loved him, and I didn't have him very long, about 2 or 3 months, and I was going to take him. I hated to do that because I thought I might get with another dog and get some puppies off him because he was a beautiful dog. And I didn't really want him neutered, so I wanted him to be a stud dog. So, anyhow, he was down there. I lived down there on the highway, and he'd come down there with me and stay, and then he'd go up the house, but he wouldn't do nothing on the parking lot, and then he'd go across the highway to use the bathroom. And I tried to get him not to do that. You know, don't do that. Stay over here, because he went in the back. But he went to the highway to use the bathroom, and coming back, car hit him, and he died there, poor little bird. So I took him up, and we buried him, and about 3 weeks went by, and they said, you got a call from him. And the letter, no, it's a letter. They wrote me a letter. You're violating your contract if you haven't had this dog neutered and you're not showed us papers. I'm supposed to take them a paper show I done it. And I said, well, it's kind of a sad situation. I said, I don't think I'm going to bring him up and have him neutered. I said, because he was the sweetest dog I believe I've ever had. He's Walter. I named him Walter, and I said he was a darling dog. I mean, I wouldn't take $100 for him. I said, but he got habit crossing the highway, and I said, a car hit him, and I think he won't have to be neutered because they knocked him off. All his credentials, and I sent him that letter back. I never heard more about him, but the fool fella, I love the dog, but I didn't want him that way. I wanted him to be a boy dog, so I could maybe, if I'm going to get a girl, I can have some puppy, because boy, he was a pretty thing. Just like old Blue. That's what he looked like. But he's telling the truth. I got me a dog and named it Walter. Mr. Everett was a professional artist, and he made a picture of the dog and wrote on it, Walter Dog. It was a big, nice, I may still have that. Seems like I still got that somewhere, that sign.
I'd say you probably do.
Plastic. It may be on the doghouse I got in decoration somewhere.
Yeah.
But every time one died, I just get another, and he'd be Walter. And usually I get one that's like him.
Oh, yeah, exactly like him.
And I had them, they'd say, boy, is this Walter? How old is Walter? He's about a couple-year-old. Why, Lord, you've had Walter 15 years. I've been here years ago when you had Walter. I said, yeah, but this is a new one. and Fred got an idea off of it. Fred was playing on the Cass Walker show. And every morning we go in Dunkin' Donut, and they'd give us donuts and stuff to take over the show and eat and drink. And he said, and it's one thing they'd say, how old is Cass? How old is Cass? He'd say 75 or whatever it was. And so one morning, Fred said, I'm going to give him a story this morning. They asked me that, and they did. How old is Cass? He said, well, which one do you are talking about? I said, now, the one you're watching on TV is number 3. They said, number 3? He said, yeah. I said, he went over to university, and they made a mold of his face, and he just puts that, we get a new guy and put that face and everything on him, and said, that's Cass number 3. He said, now, if one dies, they just put the mold, they put that on it, fix him up, like that woman, what was her name? Miss Dalfar.
Yeah,
Miss Dalfar said, they just slipped that over and said, he just wears it on TV, but said, that's number 3, Cass, that you're seeing on television. Well, I didn't know that. They say they believed it. Nobody went for it. So. And then one time he said, how old's Cass? He said, oh, it's bad. Said, you didn't hear. Said, yesterday, said, he had a bad fall. And they said, what happened? He fell off his billfold and broke his leg. There's a lot of funny stuff went on with him. But some more stories? What's some more things you remember, Dustin?
Oh, well, I know you gave me some of the best advice I ever had in my life.
Did I?
Yeah, you told me when I was young, you say, Dustin, only date older girls, they'll buy you ice cream.
I didn't know I was getting that, but I'm going to charge you for that.
No, you guys are free one.
What were you talking about the Dukes of Hazzard before we came on? You were going to tell a story about the Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. You said you got to see Daisy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell about you getting to see Daisy.
Oh, she was on. I got to see her when we were at Omaha, Nebraska, and she came to visit the Air Force base where my dad was stationed at. So I got to see her there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a poster of her on my wall for years. Yeah. Poster on my wall. Her and Dolly.
She's a pretty girl. She's pretty and real sweet. And Jim Bass was old country boy, I guess.
And she was Roscoe.
Yeah. He's Roscoe P. Coltrane.
He was Boss Hogg. Sorrel. Oh, something. I forgot his name.
Yeah. He's on the Andy Griffith show. He's George Lindsay. What was it? He's something guitar.
George Lindsay, yeah.
Yeah, he was
George Lindsay.
In the Beats. Bobby Beats.
Yeah.
Bobby Fleet the Beat. Yeah. Yeah, because he was on there playing his guitar. I don't know. I didn't ask him did he play or not, but he loved music because I've had him come. He'd come in the dressing room and tell us bye if we got to do the show or something. And then one night, Uncle Jesse, we was on stage, and he put his arm around me, and it's hot. It's a daytime thing, and he said, it's feminine, and crowd of people, and he said, "You play my kind of music, boy." And then when I got to see the Andy Griffith show, you got to see Ellie Mae, didn't you, over at Potterville?
Not Ellie Mae. It was
Ellie Mae. No, Clampett. No, it was one on Duke's Hazard. It was
I saw
Griffin. What was her name? Charlene.
Charlene. I saw Charlene at the music shop.
I worked at different ones of them.
I walked in and she was dancing and singing.
In the store, though.
Yeah, in the store.
Yeah. They had dinner with me, come stayed all day with me, and I picked for him because Doug had died, he had died, and they had hired me to play banjo for him. And oh Lord, she thought that Ciderville was. Yeah. She said, "I've never saw nothing like this." She said, "This is a place." She just loved it because she fit in. It's kind of their type of scenes and settings and everything, and she was real good. One thing they'd ask him to do, Rodney Dillard, and say, "How do you do that look?" And he'd stand there like it.
That look he has, yeah.
He'd do that. That's one thing that they'd ask him for. How do you do that look for us, like he did on there? I remember when I was going to school, high school, I guess, they came out and they got on the Andy Griffith show. And
you're talking about the Dillards, right?
Yeah, Dillards.
And they played the Darlings on Andy Griffith.
Dillards, and they had an album out, and it was 4 of them was laying down like it's buried,
Mm-hmm.
and one stuck up. And all of them laid down. They had a big flyer come up. It said, "I'm dead." It said, "Live almost." That's what it was, live almost. Is all dead with that flyer.
I play them on Saturday mornings because I do a bluegrass show here on Saturday mornings from 10 to 11.
Yeah.
And I play them. They had an album that was taped live in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, they had some good stuff. They had, and then the Andy sung on some of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, mule, whoa, mule, I think. They had a record. I heard that, and I said, man, I'd like to pick like this Doug Dillard guy, and then when I was, I started picking. Never dreamed I'd ever meet him, and never double dreamed that I'd even work with him. I mean, when you're a kid, young, because they started real young. They was in my age bracket, but when she was just a little bit older than me, because she died last year, wasn't it?
I think 3 years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago or something. But anyhow, she is just a wonderful person, and all of them was just, at WYSH, was just nice as they could be. But I heard him play Whoa Mule, and I said, "Oh, that's something else." He said, "Your nose is like a coffee pot.
Your mouth is like a...
Your face is like a coffee pot. Your nose is like a spout.
Your mouth is like a fireplace with all the ashes out."
Yeah. That's funny, wasn't it? Lord, there's much of stuff to remember.
Yeah, Andy kind of hit when he came out on the air, he kind of just, I don't think anybody saw anything like that before.
Yeah, he just let it pick with him, and Rodney said that Andy told him, said, "Now I want you all to write your songs, because you're just going to be on there a few times, but you'll get paid forever because you got your songs you wrote," and said every time you play at shows that your music and stuff will be on there, and he said you'll always get royalties for reruns and things like that. And so they did. They wrote, Doug's tune. I don't know, different one they wrote, and I forget some of them I had to play them, but I forgot the names of some of them. But anyhow, I heard them talking about it on one of their talk shows, and he said it was till we got on the Andy Griffith show that we started really making money and really doing good. We really got in chips, and people started using us, and said they thought we was something. Even our hometown started liking us,
Yeah.
It's so hard in your hometown. Everybody's heard you all day. Be like if you owned a McDonald's, let's go out and eat tonight. Where you gonna go to McDonald's? No, you don't.
Yeah.
See. And so that's the way it was with. It's that way. It's harder to make money around your. It's like another guy told me. He said, and you have to do it this way. He said, you got to get the money off your friends. You don't never get a chance at your enemies. So, if you got a show, seems like everybody around you wants you to do it for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it, hey, David, come in here and play this for free? Well, that's where I made my living to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I got into other things, music store and many music stores, but to start with, see, I was working on, my first show, I started working in Gatlinburg. I quit sanding floors and went up there and went to work with Jim Ball that used to be at the Aldrin Brothers. And then shortly after that, we opened up the music barn. And me and that guy just played everywhere. I mean, he worked every week. He said, let's go book some shows. We got to make some money this week. And he'd book them. He'd get them. I mean, he made us dress too. I'll bring a picture of one day and show you our first band. You had to wear a suit and a tie, patent leather shoes, or you could wear, all of us could wear pants alike and shirt alike and a tie alike and a sport coat alike. Or y'all had to wear black suits with, It had to be, he said, now we're not like another hick band. We're going to go out there to make money. And he said, we're going to look good when we walk out there. And he'd go get a big old place like Indian Cave or somewhere. We played up there a lot. And he said, you have to have a dressing room because we go straight to the dressing room and stage, or we go out on stage. And then when we take a break, we go out and mix and mingle with people and shake hands and stuff. You get requests and whatever. And of course, I do it a little differently now. I ask for requests up front. Anybody got a request tonight? There's a tip bucket, write it on a $10 bill.
That's it.
I learned a lot from traveling. I saw a little loophole that they was missing, and I wanted to fill in things up.
Right on a $10 bill. That's funny.
Right on a $10 bill. It's kind of like Honey Wiles was on the Cat Orchestra, and he put another nickel in a jukebox, pour me another cup of coffee. And I'm going to put a nickel in a jukebox and play that truck driving man. He'd say, quarter, pour me another cup of coffee. And he'd say, put another quarter in it. He said, quarter. And I said, honey, it's a nickel. He said, yeah, but it's went up. Things have went up since you heard it, Little David. He called me Little David. He was a mean old dude. He's kind of a wicked guy. He didn't like birds. I don't even think he liked his own self.
Who was this?
Honey Wiles. He was a big act. They was 19 years on the Grand Ole Opry. They started the big tent shows. Jam Up Honey. Boy, they were something else. They had, he's on Opry 19 and a half years. I believe he said. And he started big Opry tent shows. They started putting tents up in different states, have maybe a week's concerts with different stars, be on it.
Yeah. I've never been to the Grand Ole Opry.
Me either.
Yeah.
Never have. I've never have.
You haven't? Well, the first time I was ever at the Grand Ole Opry, I was playing on it. I've never been to it either.
I've never been to the Opry.
Later I went to, I said, I've never saw the Grand Ole Opry. Me and Karen was down there, and I said, I've never saw the Grand Ole Opry. I'd just like to see it. And just sit out there and so somebody, little A-cup fiddle player, saw me. I was visiting some show. Hey, David, what are you doing this year? I said, I've not ever saw the Grand Ole Opry. I just want to stop and see it. Go sit down back there like somebody else, and we all ticket. And went to it, and I said, tell Bill Carlisle, I said hi, because I'd worked with him from Grand Ole Opry. And here he come out. He said, oh, we got a celebrity in that there. In the earliest day, David West, one of my old knothole buddies, he said, David, I want you to sit still right now, because I'm going to do my show just for you. And when I get through, you stand up, and one of the ushers is going to bring you backstage. And he sung the songs I liked, Old Tomcat and Too Old to Cut the Mustard. He had some good stuff out. He'd sing them. He said, boy, I go up there and see him. I play up there sometimes at Ciderville. at his barn, and then he's got a big music store. And me and Chet was up there. Me and Chet Atkins. And I got their picture out there on the bench. They both played there, on Sunday. We had a big Sunday show. He said, it's a place to go to have a good time, he said. And he got through. He said, I'm through now. David, stand up, and there'll be an usher somewhere see you, and they'll come get you. They took me backstage. He was just a super guy, Bill Carlisle was.
Now, I have toured the Ryman. I went to the Ryman and toured the Ryman, the mother church of country music. But I've never been to a show at the Opry.
The first, I played first on the Ryman, and I never had saw it. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I ever saw the Ryman or not, but I played on it. I was trying to think if I ever went and sat down on a show.
I don't know.
Watch it.
I've never seen the show there.
I don't believe
They have Johnny Cash's tour bus there now. You can go out there and go tour Johnny Cash's tour bus.
That'd be cool.
At the Ryman.
At the Ryman.
I was working with Carl Story, and Barnum Buster and me. His band name was Ramblin' Mountaineers. So I was a Ramblin' Mountaineer on there. And what's his name? Keith Whitney and Ricky Skaggs was Clinch Mountain Boys.
Yeah.
I was back there with them when they
A lot of people don't remember Keith Whitley was a bluegrass player.
Oh, yeah. And Ricky was. They worked together for Grass Family.
Yeah.
I got one of the posters, printouts over there, the books they give you. It's got all those in there that played on it and told what you played and everything.
Yeah.
And Keith Whitney played guitar, and I believe Ricky played mandolin, I think.
Yeah. We had a Merle talent search 2 years ago, and a young 14-year-old boy named Parker Collins won. He was a great picker, great guitar player, great picker. And he knows his favorite band is Diamond Rio. Mr. Jimmy is his favorite guitar player. So this past summer, Mr. Jimmy broke his hand, so he couldn't play. So who do they call? They call this 15-year-old kid in Sevierville, say, hey, you want to come out on the road with us? His parents drove him to Nashville, dropped him off, and he got on a tour bus with two bus drivers, and he toured all over Canada and the northern U.S. with Diamond Rio. He was our lead guitar, 15-year-old kid. Now, I'm on his Facebook page. I go, where is he at? He's at the Grand Ole Opry playing with Vince Gill on stage.
Yeah.
And then he was backstage with Daly and Vincent. He was backstage with Billy Strings. He was playing with... So he's all the time playing with Vince Gill at the Opry, but this kid is 15 years old, has his own Facebook page, and it's unbelievable. Has never taken a lesson in his life. Just picked it up and gone.
Impressive.
But 15-year-old kid, he's touring with Diamond Rio.
That's wild.
A lot of people do that when they start. See, I didn't even start playing banjo. My first thing was a French harp, I guess, and then I went guitar. And I saw a banjo player in person, and I got listening to the Dillards and them play Wool Mule and all that stuff, and I just got craving for a banjo, and then I started playing. But I never did play. Oh, I definitely wasn't going to play for a living, go on the road and play no music.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not. I said, I just wanted to draw me a crowd for my business. It's, because there's people come in every day that jam with me, man. And I kept a guitar and a banjo and a fiddle and a tub bass. All this stuff was in the store, and they just come in on their lunch break. Hey, let's pick one, My dad said, Lord, you're picking all day long. He said, you're picking with 5 or 6 bands are coming in here. Said, you want to get up and get done something. So I said, But that's and Bill Monroe's guitar picker stopped one day, and we become great friends after that. He's still alive, and he's up there now, I guess, getting close to 90. But he was the lead singer and guitar player for Bill, and he got sick or something. He wanted to quit and come up here, and he was taking body school because he made a body man, and then he went back and worked more for Bill. But anyhow, his name's Ernest Graves, and when he did, he stopped and Cokes and things to drink. We had that little store over, you know. He stopped and he said, man, all them instruments, anybody playing? They said, my son over there plays banjo a little bit. And he said, well, just pick one. He said, let me get my guitar. He got his guitar. And we went out back. They had picnic tables, all that, just one building there. And that barrel, as I was over there. They parked big trucks and everything around back now. And we went back there and sat on the picnic table where, you know, you see a guy like that, you know, with a big star, and you're a little bit nervous anyhow.
Right.
I never had picked nothing. I hadn't just met him. They said, this is a guy that worked for Bill Monroe, and he wants you and him to pick one. He done, you understand, little Maggie. Well, he showed it to me, you know, how it went. And I played it. He looked at me, and I was backward. I wouldn't even look up at him, you know. I just had my head down, and I played it. And that's kind of intimidating. I guess he just made me nervous. Mm-hmm. And he said, boy, you're going to make a good banjo picker. He said, now you need to bury your pride. Well, I didn't know what he was talking about. Bury your pride. I thought something you had to dig a hole and put it in. You know. Bury your pride, he said, and you're going to be a good banjo picker. He said, you're going to have to loosen up and, you know, start being friendly and all that stuff. But I didn't know what he was even talking about. Later, me and him was playing on shows, and I'd tell him I'm going to bury my pride right quick so we can play. And he got the biggest kick out of it. He's one of the best friends, one of my very best friends, he turned out to be. And then I worked him when I got up on, and he was loose. I'd work him in it. One time we was doing a festival, L.E. White, Lola Jean Dillon. Now Lola wrote, when a team becomes a chill, I've lived my life, I'm only 18, somebody somewhere don't know what they're missing tonight. Today all over again, Reba McEntire's first hit. Mm-hmm. She was a big songwriter, and of course L.E. was for Conway and all them people. And they used to come over here and perform when they was in town and was going somewhere. But she just chopped a mandolin a little bit. She just knows the chords. She couldn't play. L.E. was a good fiddle player. Well, Luke, our guitar picker, had to go to eye doctor that morning. He's supposed to be there at time for us to go on at noon. And somebody else, whoever else it was, a bass player, I guess, they were running late because we had 2 hours before we were going to go on. Well, they started 2 or 3 bands laid out at the festival. I don't know what happened. They said, David, we're going to move you up. We got to move everybody up an hour or 2. And so I was the person that moved up. And he said, L.E. telling Luke, he said, Luke was one that played on Everly Brothers records. You just name them. It's about he played on Archie Camel, Rojo the Rooster, all that classical stuff. He played all that. And Green Beret, he played on that, played on the Bonanza. But anyhow, L.E. told Luke, said, I knowed I had David cornered. He couldn't pull out of it. We got to go on stage with a banjo and a fiddle and somebody chopping on a mandolin and try to do a show. And said, David was cool. Said, he didn't say anything. I said, who's going to pick us? We ain't got no bass. We ain't got no guitar. He said, we'll get it. And we walked up the ramp. And I looked over and there stood Ernest, that big, you know, they wore flashy clothes and that big hat. I said, hey, Ernest. He said, hey, what do you need, David? Come play guitar for me. Yeah, I'll play guitar for you. He just come off or was talking to somebody or something. He had his guitar on him. I said, come here, play guitar for me. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. He walked out, and I looked up to the guy over there. I don't even know his name. I said, hey, would you play bass for me? And he said, yeah. I mean, he walked up because they give us a big introduction. I said, you know, Bill Monroe was here last year, and he's passed away. And Bill has worked with a lot of musicians. I got to work for Bill as a banjo picker in Nashville, and I said, Ernest Graves was one of his long-time guitar players. I said, you was with him last year on the homecoming show. Yeah, right before he passed away, so I was on the homecoming show with him. So I go every year. We do that big thing. And I said, L.E. was his fiddle player when he was 15-year-old. He's on picking for Bill. And I said, Laura Jean sung several songs with Bill. Every one of us has worked with Bill Monroe. Let's just do a Bill Monroe show. What do you say? I said, if we're going to kick off, Ernest's going to do Bill. Oh, you understand, little Maggie? We kicked that off. L.D. said, David, I felt Bill's presence. You built it up. It's just like Bill was standing there with us, and Ernest was swelling, you know, while I was bragging on him about Bill. He hit that, and when he did, I mean, it was good. Every one of us at Bill, we done the Bill parts and done a 15 minutes or 20-minute Bill Monroe show. L.D. said, and he put it together 6 feet from the microphone.
That sounds about
It all worked out.
He said it worked. I said, well, shoot. I done a show about a year or so ago, and I don't know how we messed up. The guitar player always brought the piano player, and he forgot all about the show. He forgot to tell the piano player. So I didn't have a piano. I didn't have a guitar. I had a bass and a girl singer and a flat top and my banjo. And the flat top didn't even have electric. I mean, he didn't bring no amp. I said, well, we're going to plug you up to the PA.
Right.
He said, who's going to play lead? I said, you are. Of course, he's a good steel player. You're going to play lead and rhythm, and I'm going to pick banjo. We got a good bass player, Mike. And I said, Chicken Man's be our special. He's our special guest. And we're going to do, and his wife she's a big singer. You know, she's on Ricky Skaggs' band and like that. I mean, she's top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
She said, oh, we can't do this show. I said, listen, honey, we got to do them rain or shine.
Yeah.
I said, if you all wasn't even here and it's just me, I'd have to do it. I said, and Rick later told her he didn't know about it. He started working with us later. He said, David, walk out on stage and pick them out of the audience. He'd have a 6-piece band for 15 minutes. He said, if people sing, whether good or bad, he'd put them on, make them sound good. And I said, we're going to hit it. I said, the only thing that makes it hard on me, I have to work harder.
Yeah.
If I ain't got, I said, I have to tell more stories, more jokes, you know, and boy, we hit it and tore the house down. Some people said, one of the best shows you ever had. You know? She's nervous. I said, no, Lord. Well, me and Luke just go out and do it by ourselves, just 2 of us.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And see, they got harnessed to go to some of these big churches, and I'd speak for 15 minutes. Luke would do about 4 or 5 gospel songs, and then I'd just speak. And, they love it. They'd make tapes of it, and I've got some tapes before we done some of them. And I didn't want to charge them, but they'd pay good money because the big churches, they got finances, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, no, you do this for a living. We told you, give you this date, and hard you do it. All the artists paid us, and it was good. We could make pretty good doing that. But it's just, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to be prepared. That's the reason I saw Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. And so I changed mine to David WYSH and Cider Mountain Boys because I didn't know who it was going to be. Now we got so many girls, we call it David WYSH and the Ciderville Gang. That's why they got over at Y Wings, the Ciderville Gang. Cause they say, and they hired us for another year this year. I said, you're going to use us next year. I want to quit. And the band didn't want to quit. Oh, let's don't quit. Let's go ahead and play some shows. I said, okay. I've been turning some of them down to call-ins, but we done got Knoxville Fair, I think, again. Of course, we already do Clinton Fair, and we got some more bigger shows. We got some pretty good shows coming up, but Wild Wings is the first Monday of every month.
Okay.
And I said, you want use this for a year? Usually it's given to us every now and then. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said, well, how long we going to play? He said, a year. He said, well, here's where it is. Here's where you're going to play. As long as you will, and as long as there's a Wild Wing, you're playing. You know? I said, thank you, but I said, I'm getting up to age now. I don't buy green bananas, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
or eating nothing spicy.
Now, Destin, do you play any instrument?
I don't know, sir.
He's just a muscle, right?
That's it.
I think he could learn if you
Carries the
your
hand.
daddy was a musician. You could play.
Okay.
I mean, it runs in our family, so.
Yeah. I can play a few chords, but I ain't nothing like David or...
A, E, D, and C.
That's about it. G, D, and E.
G, D, and E.
That's it.
Oh, he carries a mean banjo, I'll tell you.
Does he know how to tune them? Does he know how to tune the banjo and the guitar?
He can tune them with his phone now. You got a telephone, you just flip it over and tune it.
That's it.
Yeah, you know you had a tuner on your phone, didn't you? Did you?
Huh?
You got to get.
Oh, there's everything on it. Yeah, tuner, you can do anything.
Yeah, you can tune
on it.
guitars
There's an app
or
for anything.
Yeah, you can tune anything.
That's funny.
You tune it up with the drums. If you want to.
Yeah, I mean, my
On the phone.
daughter's a drummer, and she's a drummer, bass player, and guitar player. So she does all of it.
Well, we got a guy like that on TV with it. I mean, on the Y-Wing. Rick Campbell, he works with Dale McCurry and Bill Monroe, and me. He started out with me, and he just said, David, can I come? He said, I want to come over and work. I asked him, he said, no, I didn't want to start back. He coming back 5 minutes later, changing plans. I said, what do you want? I want to work with you. You're first. I'll work with other people, but I'm just going to tell them you're first. I said, well, I'm glad to have you, Rick. I hate to, oh, no. He said, I've learned how to play all these instruments and sing, but I've got to hang around you and learn how to MC. He said, you can just walk out and get a crowd in your hand like that. But I like people, see, and I love to. I go in Wild Wings and say, what time is it? And they'll holler, show time. See, I got them trained. I'll make people get into show to start with.
How do you do with the drunks?
I can't hear you. They're screaming. The next time, like they're going to rattle the windows. I say, well, I guess it is.
How do you deal with the drunks in the crowd?
We just don't hit any over. It's all really good people.
Yeah, every time I've
I've
been
never
there,
even saw.
I've seen nobody get out of line.
No, I've never saw nobody because they got good food. But the crowd that follows me is not
respectable.
They're
Okay.
not drunks, They're,
Well, I bet you've had some running in your career.
oh, well, I had them. Ooh, I tell you one I had. Scott said he was from Nashville. Big safe promoter, I don't know what he was, but you take everybody at their word. And we had a Saturday night show at Ciderville, and we got 4 posts in that old part to hold the roof up, and then we got them new rafter things, so we didn't have. But them posts, if you scoot, they were just one section of it was just a little bit out of line with the other, and he run the seats, and at that one post, it stuck out about 12 inches from the seat.
Okay.
Well, this guy sitting on the front row, him and I guess his wife or girlfriend or something, and he's telling us, so I'm going to stay and watch the show. So I'm going to go get a ticket to stay and watch a little bit of the show. Said, I'm going to tell him at Nashville, what are you doing? I might get you some bookings. I said, okay. I mean, it sounded okay. And I didn't know he was even drinking. But it was real hot in there, that fireplace and everything going, and I guess he really took him a big slug before he come in there. He sat down on the front row, and we done about 3 songs. And we did, he stood up. At that time, we didn't have no fence on the stage. He just stepped up about this high, you could step up on it. And he said, I built a white fence after that, so he couldn't get up on it. You have to come in like everybody else. And he said, he stepped up, he stood up, and he said, boy, that was good. I heard about 3 or 4 songs. He said, I want to tell everybody how much I appreciate this. Said, I'm from Nashville, an agency. I'm going to try to get these boys some shows, and said, you all are good. I hate to have to leave. And I said, well, let's give him a big hand. Big hand. He said, would you care if I sung a song? Oh, come on, man. I mean, he walked up, stepped up on stage, and he got on stage. I could see where he wobbled getting up. I thought, this dude's drinking. Then I smelled him, and I got drunk. I mean, I smelled him, and he was higher than a Georgia pine, as they used to say. He got up there and he said, I want to sing a little bit of something. He sung a little bit, and I thought, I'll give him a big hand, get him off there. But before I could do it, he said, I want to do one more. He said, I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. And he started singing it, how they do it, point people out. And he stood there and sung it and pointed right at me. I can't help it. He looked me right square in the ear. And I was getting madder and vexed. We was picking, and the band was grinning at me, That was making it worse. And when he got through with that, and I said, okay, give him a big hand. I got him by the arm and set him off stage. It made him mad. He went back through there. I said, you got to get off right now. I said, we got a show to do here. Boy, it made him mad, and he went back through that aisle, and he was saying dirty words, cussing. And he did. I started after him. I said, hold this a minute. I was going to go get him, and he turned around just as I started to step off stage and hit that post dead center. Boing! He hit it so hard, you know, hollow post like that, a big old piece of pipe, you know.
Yeah.
Boing! and the doorbell said, I bet that he said, I bet that'll sober that fool up. He hit that post and he backed up. He like knocked him out. And he looked around like this. He said, Bruno said, he thinks somebody hit him and hit the camera or something. The crowd was just roaring. I mean, in full house, they were just roaring. He didn't know where they had addled him. And so finally I just stood there. He finally they quit laughing so bad, and he's got straight. I guess she got him with the arm, got him out of her. That was one. But, you know, I was with Monroe when he got aggravated like that. And he started to bust his dobro with one's head. And he said he had done that before in clubs, you know.
Man.
He said, if they just keep bugging me, I just bust it over the head. But, and I was playing somewhere, and this guy was aggravating me. He kept on, he's heckling me. That's what it was. I didn't want to do this show nohow. I was coming in from another show. I had 3 shows that day, and I told these people, I can't squeeze it in. I said, I've got to be somewhere at 8 o'clock tonight, and I've got to play on down further toward Nashville. And this was in dinner toward where the prison is out from Frost Bottom.
Okay.
They had a big barn thing in there. And I said, I'll come by there and do 30 minutes. They won't know what I charge them. I said, I'm going to just do 30 minutes. I'm going to pull in my limousine. When you see that limousine pull up, and I carry them instruments, get them off stage, because I got to do my 30 and run, because I'm going to be late for the next show. Well, they told that man, they said, now when he gets here, because I told him about what time I get there, and said, they got him off. Well, when they did, I've told this before, but this is a sight to see. They had concrete blocks, a big old 2 by 12 sitting on top of them blocks. And the front row was a bunch of them professional dancers. They had them real nice, you know, them dresses that when you go around, you can see, you think you're seeing their underclothes, but you're not. It's a big old white thing they got on under them. It's part of their suit. And they get up there and do all that square dancing. I mean, they were really good. Well, they was sitting on front to see us. I guess they was going to go on after us or something.
Yeah.
And just quick as we walked up on stage, there sat a drunk, and he sat there, and there sat a guy beside him from some service he had on uniform. The guy said, I got up there and I said, I said, hello to everybody, and I said, we're going to start the show with Monroe, I think. Somebody had a request. I don't want to hear Monroe. I want to hear Ray Bull. That's a guy that played guitar. And I said, we'll get him on for you right after this. I don't want to hear him now. I want to hear him right now. He just kept on that. We just blocked him out, and the guy sung. I don't want to hear it. He started again. And Monroe said, I'll tell you, son, or sir, said, they ain't room up here on this stage, but one jackass at a time, and I'm already up here. Well, that's one they used to do on TV. Red and Fred doesn't know Red and Fred joke, but when he done that, he started going, he done it again, you know. Well, it's just interrupted. We couldn't even do nothing hardly, and I was getting aggravated, and I was just fixing to walk off. And when he said something else, that guy in uniform, he's a soldier boy, he said, shut up! He hit him right there in the ribs, knocked his breath out of breath. He knocked him just about out. Shut up, he said. Well, when he did, all them women on that big old board over, about 10 or 12 of them, they rose back and laughed, and they did the board turned over. And all of them was laying on their backs with their feet stuck up there. And just as they done that, another group was going to come in behind us, and they set one of them doghouse bases up on the stage, and the bridge fell. Said, pow, it felt like somebody shot a 38. Pow! And I said, I'll tell you something. We're going to get out of here. I said, we've almost got a drunk kill, 12 women over here upside down, This man's tore his bass up. I think we've done enough damage. Thank you all and goodbye. And I left on 3 songs. that was a good one.
That's funny.
That's funny. So you're going to be at Wild Wings. You're going to be at Wild Wings
The 10th.
the 10th, which is
10th. That's next Monday.
yeah,
Coming
next Monday.
And I'll tell you about some more things. We got to go. Me and Dustin's got to do some displays today over at Ciderville. He's going to go over and help me do some displays for Anthony Lay. Anthony's off today. It's his wife's birthday. But we got Jim Hensley over there running the shop. And I was going to go over and help him display some of his countless things he ain't got. He don't know where they go.
Mm-hmm.
But we got them for him. You talk about stock. He's got it. He's got guitars. He's got Gretsch's electric, Gretsch's flat top. He's got all kinds of fenders on top of fenders. He's got Martin. He's got Jackson, Charvel, and he's got a dobro, Phil Ledbetter dobro. Them are hard to get. Brand new Phil Ledbetter dobro. He's got banjos. And if you want to see drums,
Man.
he's then took the next room up. We got to get the amps out of her directly so he can put the rest of the drums in there. He's got a huge drum room. I'm talking about he's got every make and model, I believe.
Yes, I believe
He's
you're
got
right.
it all.
About anything you want.
He's got it all, if I believe. He said he had more than anybody in the state of Tennessee.
I believe it.
So just come by and say hi to him and look at it. Now, Doug, that used to run the store, is no longer running the store. He's still running the music barn.
Okay.
So that's 2 sections over. And he has a Friday night. He has a karaoke night. And they do a lot of different things in there. And so go over and see him on Friday night. And then he has shows on Saturday night. He don't have them every Saturday night, but he has them quite a bit. And he'll put it on the marquee out there. He had it last week. They said it's a sellout crowd. Of course, he had 2 bands there, and they always sell out. You have them like that. It's a big crowd. So Doug is also in the sound system business, and it's hard for him to do the store and do the sound system too. So he's over doing sound systems. He does ours at Wild Wings. If you don't hear it, want to meet him, come to Wild Wings, talk to him. If you got a big show, I met him. I mean, I knew him, but he done one in Dalton, Georgia, about 30,000 people. It's a bunch of people, gobs of people. It's a thing, old balcony and stuff. You couldn't even, I don't know where all they're just everywhere. He put that big sound, so I guess nothing too big and nothing too small. So if you need a sound system, you want him to come out, he can come out and stay with it and run it for you, and he's a real good sound man. So if you need a sound system, you need a show, just go over and see Doug at Ciderville.
Ciderville. That's a fun place to be.
Yeah, if you need a musical instrument, come over and see Anthony. And I ain't there very much. I just go get the mail, but if you don't see me and Dustin, come over today.
That's right. We'll be there.
And remember, Wild Wings, may the good Lord bless you till we get to see you next week. As Kaz Walker said, you be good to the Lord, and he'll be good to you.
All right, Dave. Thank you, man. Nice to meet you,
Hey, nice
Dustin.
to meet you.
All right, guys. Be right back with some great classic country music. Don't you go nowhere.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor. Thanks for listening.